Again, thank you everyone for joining us this evening for the first Mentor Monday of 2021. We're excited to have this time where you guys can come together and our scholars can get some valuable feedback on their resumes. As you guys know, it's internship recruiting season, as well as a lot of our scholars are preparing for graduation and full-time work. So it'll be really key to have their resumes just ready to go. And so we are really excited and really appreciative of all of our mentors coming on to spend a little time with the scholars to provide some individualized feedback and to really connect with them to help them feel more confident in their job and internship searches. I'm not going to dive too much into just everything, but I'm really excited again to have you all here. I just wanted to go straight into our discussion to give you guys a sense of how the hour will go. I'm going to just basically lay out the agenda, and then we'll have a brief discussion with an HR expert that I'm going to introduce, and I'm really excited to have her here this evening. And then we will have 2 sessions of about 15 to 16 minutes each, where mentors will be individually put in a room with a scholar that you have received a resume of already to review and provide feedback to help them improve their resumes so they're job ready. And then in about 16 minutes after that first session begins, you'll be switched into another room. I'll provide some more details and instructions on that later. But before we go into that, I want to introduce our special guest this evening. This evening we have with us Kelli Willis, who is an HR professional, and she has over 15 years experience in various industries with her full-time position as an HR director. She's worked with organizations from 50 to 600 employees, and she has an HR generalist background that encompasses recruiting, net interviewing, benefits administration, talent and performance management, and compliance and employee engagement. In 2019, she launched her own HR consulting business where she works with small businesses to assist them in any of their short-term and long-term HR needs, as well as working with individuals on their job hunts, interview prep, and resume review. She has a bachelor's degree in HR management and her master's in HR organizational development. And she's a certified professional with the Society for Human Resource Management. So we're really excited to have Kelli here with us this evening. Thank you for being here, Kelli.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So we are going to have just a brief discussion of just to set the foundation and to really hopefully prime the pump for our scholars to ask good questions when it comes to their individual sessions with their mentors. So my first question to you, Kelli, is just the basics. You know, it may seem like a basic question, but what is the resume and how important is it to have it really refined and make sure that you are showing your best self?
So, your resume is really the first impression. And that's how, I like to think about it as first impression. That's what you know, the story you want to tell. And people try and put their personality in it a little bit, which is good, especially since you're not face to face with that person. So you can't have that, kind of personal bond with them, initially. But you definitely want to put all of the accomplishments, all of the great things in your work or education history to show that you would be a great asset for the company, and to show that you have progressed in your career, whether it be going from a internship to an assistant to a coordinator, just showing the progression, and your can-do attitude, your kind of work ethic. If you have any kind of, volunteer experience, that's the place to just, put as much as you can to give that first good impression on the employer, because they have so many different resumes coming in. So it's like you want to try and add things to kind of set yourself apart
Mhm.
from the candidates, from the other
And what
candidates.
Yeah, and what are those things that you've seen sets people apart? Is it just having good grammar or a nice format, or is it the content itself and making sure that that what they've said about their roles makes an impact?
I personally am a huge grammar freak. And so good grammar and formatting is a big deal to me. And on previous employers that I've worked with, that has been kind of a sticking point with them as well, because it's showing you're taking the time to make sure everything is correct. Um, I think we had maybe talked about, or you could ask me about like volunteering and things like that. Those are good things to have on there to show your, your extracurriculars. Some places, like my previous employer, they were a government contractor in international development. And so they were big sticklers, like you had to have an internship. They really wanted a lot of people that were like in Peace Corps. So it really kind of depends on the company or the industry that you're going into. So you should really do research on the company to see, what they value, and then you can kind of add those things in here and there on your resume.
Mhm, mhm. And that's a great segue into my next question about importance of research. When not only when you're, preparing your resume for a particular position, when you're preparing for an interview, how
hmm
important is it, or how would you go about doing research about that for that company and making sure you're well prepared?
So what's kind of crazy is, and I'm going to say this, is research what the company does. And a lot of people are like, well, yeah, obviously I'm going to know. But some people, if they just see a job opening that they want, like administrative assistant or something, they're just going to apply. They're not really going to look into the company, and see what they do. But 9 times out of 10, a company is going to ask you, what do you know about us? So you want to research, if you can look at their mission and values, you can look up their, in the About Us section. You can look at their the company culture, diversity. Just look at their whole website, and pick out little things. A lot of times people will, if you say, I really like your, I really, your resume, I mean your mission really resonates with me, that kind of shows that you really were doing your your work in researching the company. Before interviews, I go on Indeed, Glassdoor, Yelp, look at the reviews of the companies. And while you have to take those with a grain of salt, if 90% are bad reviews by the employees, it's probably not going to be the greatest company culture. And so that's probably not a place that you're going to want to be at. Those have helped me through my in applying for different positions. I'm like, oh, let me just check and see. And it's like, all of these negative reviews on the management team and different teams and things like that. And so you want to find a place that is a good fit for you as well. It's a beneficial thing that you want to be a good fit for them. You want them to be a good fit for you. So doing as much research as you can and bringing up those different things either in your cover letter or in your in your interview will show them that you've done the research.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I would also say news alerts, or just
hmm
what the company has been doing in the news is also important to be.
yeah, and I've
Um,
had a couple people, they recently, actually, a girl, we asked her, what do you know about us? And she said, oh, yeah, I didn't have time, to look at the site. So can you tell me about the company? And so it's kind of like, a real turn off to me, it's not a complete deal breaker, but to the other managers, it's like, she didn't even, take the time to see what we do. And so that's a big thing.
yeah, yeah, that's so important. A couple of questions came in from the scholars when they were submitting their resumes, and I wanted to share them here. One of them just has to do with the fact that, what if nothing on my resume fits the job description of the role I'm applying for? I'm trying something new here. I want to go into this particular field, but the experience I have doesn't necessarily match the description. How do I make sure that I'm bringing, showing that I can transfer those skills?
Well, a lot of places look more for soft skills, because everybody can basically be trained, right? So, and pretty much every job is some form of customer service. So as long as you have worked with people, you have good communication, good, written and verbal communication, teamwork, things like that, you can use those kind of words to show that you would be a good asset to the company. Of course, adding different achievements that you've had, whether it's even, personal, academic academic as well. Um, because at the end of the day, you're going to be trained. And a lot of times, especially when you get in the interview, it can be more of a personality fit. Even if you have no experience, you have a great personality, you show this, can-do attitude, and that's what will get you in there. So, as long as you have those different keywords and things, that's a way that you can, get in there.
Mhm, mhm. You talked a little bit about one of the mistakes some people have made is when not researching companies. What are some other common mistakes that college students or recent graduates make in their job search?
One big thing that I've seen is people applying to several positions in one company, and they are several, like, extremely different to positions. For example, a project manager, versus a project assistant or finance manager. If you're just applying to all of these different things, that just kind of shows you're looking just for a paycheck. And you're not really looking into the qualifications. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm sure I could do that, and it's like, you really have to show, that you can do these things. And so that is definitely, I've seen a turn off to employers is when you are applying for just several different positions.
Mhm,
Two, I would stop it at two. Um, and if it is two, I would make it something that's very close, like a project assistant and an administrative assistant or something like that. Something
mhm,
that kind of correlates. It's, close together.
mhm,
Um, so yeah, that's one. Um, I also would say, a lot of people think that your degree is just going to get you in the door. But there are so many applicants out there. It's like you really have to make sure you do a nice written out resume, and making it as detailed as you can without making it extremely wordy, but just showing your skills. I've seen some people that you know have put like, oh, just wash dishes, and just kind of like vague things. And it's like, well, you can kind of make it a little bit creative, and Google, when I first started, doing resumes and looking for jobs, Google was like my best friend in how to like reword different things to make it sound, bigger than kind of what it was. And so those are, you know, different things that I think you should do, because you do, like I said, you do kind of have to stand out.
Kelly,
yeah.
any thoughts on the cover letter that you can share with some of the students?
So the cover letter, I personally hate cover letters. But I know a lot of employers are looking for them. And a cover letter really is to kind of show your achievements. For example, my cover letter, my personal cover letter, I have put the biggest accomplishments that I've had over the years. And one was like maintaining 100% compliance and establishing a wellness program, different things that you've done or different projects that you've worked on. Of course, putting in your education, how many years experience. It doesn't have to be long, no longer than a page. Really could
Or,
probably
or,
be.
or to your point, no cover letter and maybe like a 1 or 2 line item that directs people to the resume. Because I agree with you, cover letters are, most cases unnecessary.
Right, exactly. And that's what, to me, the summary statement is kind of, to me, better than a cover letter, but some places require it, so we have to do it, unfortunately. But yeah, I definitely would prefer a summary statement over a whole nother thing that I have to read, especially when you have so many resumes that come through.
Yeah, that's a really great question, Keith. Thank you for paying that. And like you said, the summary statement, what is that exactly? And where do you put it? And what should it highlight?
So again, your summary statement should be your education, how many years experience you have. You can put in, keywords like, detailed team worker, team player, enthusiastic project assistant, or whatever title you're looking for. Um, and you can put in different accomplishments with that as well. I prefer, and people are moving from objective statements more so to summary statements, because objective statements seem to be a little bit vague. They can just be, college grad seeking administrative position. And so that's not really saying anything about yourself. And so since your summary statement is right at the top, it's the very first thing that they see, you want to put, you want to kind of catch their eye with a summary statement.
That's okay. I'll open it up for just one or two questions from the audience, or if there's any more for Kelli before we break out into the small groups. Courtney, I see your hand being raised. I'm gonna ask you to unmute.
Hi.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi.
Hi, Kelli. My question was, would I need to create like a specific type of resume for a government job?
Yes. And government resumes are very different. They're a lot more detailed than a regular resume. And so I know, I believe USA Jobs, or USA Jobs has either a template or has the directions on how to make one. I strayed away from government resumes a long time ago because it was just so much. They want real summaries of the position, so you're not doing different bullets. Most places want to see just a quick bullets of your duties. Government resumes really want details of each position, and so they tend to be a lot longer than a regular resume.
Yeah. Thank you. And Wendy White, you asked one question about where the summary statement should go. And yes, I believe it should be at the top of the resume, right, Kelli?
Yes.
Awesome. So I want to get us, Garal, you just raised your hand, and we'll have that one question and then we'll move into.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. And speaking of length, how long should a resume be?
So a lot of people say, oh, don't make it more than one page, but that's just not realistic for hardly anyone these days. I guess for recent grads, it might be if you don't really have a lot of experience and you can keep it at one page. But of course, as you get more jobs, you don't really want it to be, 4 pages or anything like that. They say stick to the last 10 years of work. And so if it gets to the 4-page range, then you might just want to take down some bullets from each one to kind of shorten it up. 3-page, I think, would be the max for me.
Yeah, I would say for our scholars who are all newly into the workforce, 1 page would be ideal.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Hey, Kelli, this is Richard Bynum. I appreciate your feedback there. I would tell you though, getting in the habit to work hard to be as succinct as possible on a resume, having reviewed thousands of them, would be encouraged. It's
Yes.
just, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ayana, you had one question, and then we'll go to the.
Okay, I'll be really quick. So I have a question as a small business owner. I don't know if this is a dumb question or not, but should you have like a resume for your small business, like that will make, I guess, like track your milestones and the things that you have accomplished as a business? Like, let's say you want to pitch, or I don't know, you trying to market yourself better. Like, should you have a resume for your business?
That's a good question. I guess it wouldn't hurt. That's a really good question. Do you have I don't know, is it you that has the business?
Yes.
Do you have a website?
I'm working on it.
Okay. I would probably just utilize the website more so. but I'll have to think on that a little bit more. That's actually a really good question.
Okay,
Yeah, I
thank
guess it
you.
wouldn't hurt, but I'd probably utilize the website more so than actually having a resume for it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So thank you again, Kelly, for all your awesome insights. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
those who chimed in with your questions. A great conversation that can continue, hopefully, with your individual discussions that you'll have in your small rooms. So you'll be meeting, all the mentors and mentees will be meeting one-on-one. I will say, just as a note, there have been a couple of last-minute changes, as usual, but we have been able to make sure everyone is matched. Some of the staff will be coming in and out, but I believe all of the members and scholars have someone to meet with. And so you should have been receiving emails from Devanya if you have a change. If you haven't received an email, you should be good to go. But you'll be transitioning shortly. Kyle will be moving you guys into your first breakout room, where you'll be meeting with your mentee that you've received the first resume for. So in that time, you'll have about 16 minutes. Please use the first minute or so just to introduce yourselves, get acquainted, share a little bit about your work for the mentors, and then for the scholars, share a little bit about what you're studying and what you're aiming to do with your career. And then, of course, go into the resume review process. What we'll do next after that process, we will have a little bit of time to transition into from the first to second session. You will get reminders when it's time to start winding down your conversation so that you can make sure that you aren't going over or aren't cut off in the middle of a sentence. But then also during that transition, please be patient because that takes a little bit longer to move everyone from room to room with about 20 something rooms. So there may be a moment or so where you'll have 3 people in a room. Don't panic. Everyone's going to be moved to one-on-one very shortly. So if that is the case, if it's the case where both of you guys, the scholar and the mentor, are on a computer, you do have the option and tool to share your screen as you go over the resume. If that's not a possibility, if one person is on a phone, that's just fine. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that option was available. Any questions before we go into the first rooms? All right, I think we're good to go. Yes, we're about to do some moving now, so you'll see a little bit of notices shortly, and then we will get you matched. Everyone, thank you guys. I hope you guys had some great conversations, and our scholars, I hope you learned a lot and took some good notes and have a chance to make a new version of your resume based on the feedback you received tonight from our awesome mentors. Again, thank you everyone for attending this evening. You'll see on the screen a few announcements for our scholars. We encourage you to please go ahead and make edits to your resume. The earlier you do it, the better, because it means you'll be able to incorporate the great feedback and changes that you got this evening, so you can make your resume, ready to go. What we'll do for follow-up, we of course, as usual, send a survey, but we'll also send contact information for those mentors that you met with so that you can send them your updated resume by next week. That's what we recommend. Follow us on social media. I think that's important. Devanya has been great at keeping our social media up to date. She's going to put that in the chat room, our Twitter and Instagram handles in particular. And then we have upcoming a Mentor Monday on the end of the month on January 25th. We'll send more information about that this week and hope you guys can attend, especially for those scholars who are interested in finance and banking. And then, of course, for all of our scholars who are eligible, that means you are in your sophomore year or have completed your sophomore year and are a rising senior or recent grad, you will be eligible to apply for our Urban Alliance Summer Internship Program. That application will open on January 19th. So you'll see more information about that, as well as all of the other things that are coming up. And again, thank you everyone for coming, for participating. It's been an awesome evening, and we look. Oh, Keith, I see your hand.
Marissa, are you open to us communicating with the students a couple of times? I kind of look at this, it's like resume iterations is not a one and done. And I think it may take a couple of passes for the students to really get to what it needs to be. Are you open to that kind of offline conversations with the students? You know, us.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We will, like I said, we'll make sure the scholar has your contact information and follow up to make sure that they send you guys their updated resume so you guys can continue that conversation going on.
Great.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Keith, for that. That's really great that you guys are willing to continue to work with our scholars. Everyone needs help, no matter what phase of your career you're in. So this is the beginning of an awesome journey to build your network of supporters as you move through your career. So thank you for participating this evening, and have a great evening, everyone.
Bye.